Thornbuckle Emberbrow is an intriguing figure. Standing at a diminutive height typical of a gnome, he has a robust stature, hinting at an innate strength not immediately apparent. His skin, a slightly dusky hue, is marked by an interesting mix of gnome and tiefling features, a perfect representation of his mixed heritage. His eyes, brimming with intelligence and a subtle hint of cunning, glint under thick bushy brows. These brows, blackened and ever so slightly singed, are often furrowed in concentration or annoyance, reflecting his grumpy disposition. His hair, a wild, unkempt mop of jet-black strands, extends to a long beard speckled with gray, both usually smoky from his regular use of fiery spells. The most distinguishing feature of Thornbuckle is his feet. Instead of the typical gnome feet, his legs end in hooves, a hallmark trait of his tiefling lineage. This lends an odd, clattering gait to his movements, but he carries it with an unapologetic dignity. The hooves, though often a source of consternation and embarrassment to many tieflings, have become a point of pride for Thornbuckle. They are his stamp of individuality and a testament to his unique lineage. Often seen in a patchwork robe, well worn from countless hours of study and magical experimentation, and usually accompanied by a steaming cup of tea, Thornbuckle presents an odd picture. This gnome wizard may seem grumpy and a bit eccentric on the surface, but beneath his irritable exterior is a sharp mind, a loyal heart, and an unyielding spirit ready to face any odds to protect those he cares about. Backstory. Born in the fiery chaos of the multiverse's infernal realms, Thornbuckle Emberbrow's existence is the improbable outcome of a union between a gnome and a tiefling. The sinister bloodline bequeathed to him by his tiefling ancestry infused him with an inherent magical aptitude. On the other hand, his gnome lineage endowed him with a tireless thirst for knowledge and a profound bond with the tangible universe. Regardless of the malevolent undertones of his infernal heritage, he found a greater kinship with his gnome features and chose to establish his life on the material plane, a realm where his complex identity seemed less alien and discordant. In a clearing nestled amidst a thick woodland, Thornbuckle built his abode, a wizard's tower, small in height but magically enlarged on the inside. It was less a symbol of power and more a place for solitude, a refuge from the world where he could enjoy his two greatest passions, reading and tea. There was a peculiar charm about the tiny tower that punctuated the expanse of the dense woodland, a beacon of oddity amidst the verdant canopy. Thornbuckle, though of gnome stature, had imbued his abode with an enchantment of spatial expansion that defied its seemingly modest facade. Pushing the arched door open, an enchanting whiff of old parchment and brewing tea wafted through the air, inviting any visitor into the arcane embrace of his sanctuary. The entryway, imbued with soft, warm light from orbs floating just below the ceiling, led further into an interior far greater than the tower's external structure suggested. The heart of the tower, the library, was a cavernous chamber filled to the brim with teetering piles of ancient tomes and scrolls. Whispering spirits of long-dead authors floated among the dusty shelves, their spectral figures flickering in the glow of ethereal lanterns. Here, beneath the soft murmurs of arcane incantations and the rustle of turning pages, where he spent countless hours immersed in his treasured chronicles of magic and history. On the adjacent side of the library, an antiquated wooden table stood, etched with arcane runes. The surface was covered in a myriad of magical artifacts, an inkwell, a quill that floated in mid-air, ready to transcribe the notes of the preoccupied wizard. A quaint brass teapot, forever warm, hummed quietly, billowing curls of fragrant steam, creating a comforting ambiance of a perpetual tea time. Spiraling upwards, a narrow staircase led to the observatory. The dome, enchanted with a spell of transparency, offered a magnificent, unhindered view of the cosmos above, stars winking in silent communication with the solitary wizard beneath. Charts of constellations, astral maps, and celestial diagrams were strewn about, reflecting his tireless pursuit of knowledge beyond the terrestrial realm. Further below, there was a room devoted to Thornbuckle's beloved teas. Shelf upon shelf was stocked with a variety of exotic leaves, imported from the four corners of the world, and a collection of teacups that would make a royal collection look bland. In its peculiar charm and wizardly disarray, the tower was truly a reflection of Thornbuckle himself, an amalgamation of grumpy solitude, relentless curiosity, and an undying thirst for knowledge. A sanctuary that defied norms, just like the gnome who called it home. His tower, no taller than a large tree, was often visited by squirrels. They climbed and scampered, unwittingly becoming the targets of Thornbuckle's fiery cantrips, not out of spite, but for the sheer fun of it. Their frantic squeaks and fiery escapes were his only amusement in a life of arcane studies and prolonged solitude. He kept in touch with his infernal kin by sending them letters of grandiose tales, describing how he defended his tower from monstrous creatures and executed complex magical achievements. In reality, though, his days were spent quietly reading, sipping tea, and scorching squirrels. One fateful day, his routine was shattered. The squeals of a squirrel set on fire were not as usual. They were words. Startled, he dismissed it as a figment of his imagination and returned to his book. But a later knock on his door would reveal a tiny black dragon, angrily accusing him of unnecessary cruelty. The gnome wizard, flabbergasted and defensive, hastily dismissed the creature and returned to his solitude. As dusk fell and the rain pattered against his tower, he found himself restless. His grumpy exterior crumbled, replaced by a twinge of guilt and compassion. He opened the door to the dragon, drenched and visibly joyful at being invited inside. While his heart was murmuring bad idea, Thornbuckle Emberbrow, the grumpy gnome, now found himself with an unexpected houseguest. Little did he know that this encounter would serve as the catalyst for a new chapter in his life, one that would add more than a pinch of reality to his fictional heroic tales. He named the young dragon Cinderflame, and over time she grew into a mischievous teenager. She developed a habit of sneaking out at night, observing the nearby townsfolk, and even pulling pranks on them. Thornbuckle, ever the recluse, was greatly displeased by these antics. He couldn't comprehend why she sought the company of humans when she had an entire tower of books at her disposal. He sternly warned her to avoid people, often shutting the door in her face to emphasize his point. On a nondescript evening, Thornbuckle succumbed to the monotonous lullaby of an uninspiring tome, sliding into the uncertain realm of slumber. His dreamscape was invaded by a spectral woman, her skin as pale as the moonlight, cloaked in the threatening embrace of shadows. Her eyes gleamed with an eerie glow, the personification of malevolent intentions. Her chilling whisper ricocheted within the depths of his subconscious. "You have something that belongs to us." The dream then twisted into a grotesque nightmare where spectral murmurs hinted at corrupting Cinderflame, turning her into a tool of destruction. As the spectral voices taunted him, "You are nothing but a little squirrel." He was jolted awake, the neglected book tumbling onto the wooden floor with a dull thud. As he gathered his wits, he became painfully aware of a malevolent hum filling the air. The magical wards woven around his tower had been breached. Outside his haven, the once peaceful world had transformed into a grotesque theater teeming with soulless creatures of the undead. His heart clenched with dread when he realized that his dear Cinderflame was missing amidst this chaos. His mind swirled with a whirlwind of emotions, guilt, regret, and a deep-seated fear for her safety. His heart ached with the weight of his newfound responsibility, but amidst this maelstrom of feelings, one thing shone clearly. She had changed him, softened him, and he would stop at nothing to ensure her safety. For the first time in a long time, he had found something, someone, worth fighting for. Embracing his devilish heritage and casting aside his grumpy exterior, Thornbuckle took the fight to the undead. He wielded his arcane power with an intensity he had never before displayed, reducing the undead intruders to ashes. But in his victory, he paid a hefty price. His beloved tower was consumed by the very flames he had summoned to protect it. Now, in the smoldering ruins of his home, he found a glimmer of hope. A memory of a mark on Cinderflame's body, the symbol of the Order of the Morning Star. He didn't know how or why, but he realized that he had been entrusted with a dragon of significant importance, and he now had a new purpose, to find and protect her from those who wished to exploit her. His grumpy solitude was shattered, replaced by a resolve steeled in the fires of his burning home. Thornbuckle Emberbrow was no longer just a wizard. He was now a guardian on a mission. Quirky, resourceful, and driven by an unexpected paternal instinct, Thornbuckle Emberbrow is a figure of intrigue and resilience. If you're drawn to a character that embodies the perfect fusion of gnome curiosity and tiefling tenacity, here is why you should consider Thornbuckle your hero in your next adventure. Arcane wisdom. His understanding of magic is impressive. As a wizard, his unique spells and quick thinking can turn the tides of a desperate situation and confound the most formidable foes. You'll be playing a character who uses his arcane prowess to outsmart enemies, protect his friends, and make the world a bit safer. Protector of the unusual. With Thornbuckle's begrudging acceptance of his role as a guardian, you become a shield for those who don't fit the usual mold. You are not just a grumpy gnome. You are a symbol of compassion who can bring warmth to an icy situation, promote understanding, and protect the innocent with a formidable mix of magic and cunning. Challenge the stereotypes. His journey serves as a testament that even the most seemingly antisocial individuals can become champions of those they care for. Your story can challenge the stereotype, showing that grumpiness and loyalty can coexist, and that isolation can lead to understanding and compassion. Playing as Thornbuckle provides you an opportunity to explore these complex themes, lending depth and nuance to your character. Unexpected guardian. His resolve is as strong as his tea is bitter. His journey will take you through trials that require more than just arcane knowledge. He offers a path of resilience, growth, and the exploration of a character who evolves with every page read, every spell cast, and every threat averted. Choosing Thornbuckle as your hero is to embrace the unexpected. It is a commitment to a life of magical experimentation, reluctant heroism, and a resolve that is forged in the flames of adversity. If you're ready to wield the power born from the fusion of gnome curiosity and tiefling magic, to safeguard those you hold dear, and to forge a path illuminated by your magical prowess and determination, then Thornbuckle Emberbrow awaits your command. Grab your spellbook, let your magic echo across the realms, and inscribe your story into the annals of time.